He's Roy Williams, North Carolina head coach. Next up for Coach and Carolina will be Syracuse. That'll be Saturday in Houston. Let me hear how the voice sounds, Coach.
Not very good this morning, Dan, but we don't practice till 3 o'clock, so I should be in form for my yelling at practice today.
But it's supposed to sound like this in March if you've had a successful season, right?
Yeah, it should, and I tell you what, I've got a sinus infection and a bad throat and feel better than anybody in the world right now.
What is the game plan? How do you prepare for Syracuse? You got all these days. You know you're going to have the fanfare, the media. Is it too much time in between?
No, I don't think so. And the reason I say that is because we played the late games Friday and Sunday. We didn't get back here till 4 o'clock in the morning on Monday morning. And so I like having this break for the guys' legs. And, it's the same thing for Syracuse. Perhaps they didn't play quite as late as we did. I don't even know their schedule. But I don't mind having this time off. And I like the guys being able to understand where they have gotten and the pageantry of the Final Four and the importance, and let them enjoy these feelings instead of just jumping right into it and playing another game so quickly.
When's the last time you called in sick?
I can't remember the last time. I've been pretty healthy, I guess.
Well, I saw the article in the Washington Post, and it was pretty detailed about your health. And I know that that's been a topic here. Was that a fair assessment of how you feel and what you've gone through in the Washington Post article?
Dan, I'll try to treat this lightly because I could deal with it much more strongly, I think. I haven't read it. I have two of my very close friends that were so mad if they were to step in front of that guy in the street, it would be a bad scene because they felt like that the guy lied. I started to try to say it nicely, but one of my guys said, I never said anything like that. And so it's upset all my friends. And I haven't read it, don't care to read it, never will read it, and he'd better step carefully around any of my friends because my high school coach is one of the finest gentlemen I've ever known in my life, and one of my assistants that was with me for 21 years, and they are so mad at that guy. So, number one, I had 2 knee surgeries last summer. I don't run like I used to, but I could still outrun that damn guy. I can tell you that right now if I had to chase his butt down. But secondly, I've got a head cold right now, and, I feel real good. I really do. The knee surgeries have slowed me down, and I'm going to have to talk to them after the season's over about possible knee replacement. But I really feel good. I can't do the things that I always did in the past as far as the running part or the walking part. I used to walk or run 6 days a week, so now I go in the weight room and I do all upper body stuff. I know me and Arnold Schwarzenegger really look like each other, but I think I can still go out and hit the golf ball. I can roll around in the floor with my grandsons and enjoy them, and so as far as I'm concerned, I'm okay.
Well, I posed this question to Jim Boeheim. I'll pose it to you as well. And that is, does the results of any of these games coming up affect what you do next year, coaching-wise? No.
I've said, I guess I have to I think it's been 3 years. I've said I hope I get to coach 6 to 10 more years. I'm aiming towards 75 is what I would like to get to as long as I feel well. And, because I love it. I've got a group of kids right now that have made me feel 10 years younger out there on the court every day. And I've enjoyed them. Even when I've gone wacko on them, I've really enjoyed them. And 5 minutes after I go wacko, somebody will say something silly, and we'll all be standing there laughing, or Theo Pinson will try to bang into our press conference and act like where's his table. And, so we're really having fun with this team.
We're talking to Roy Williams, North Carolina head coach. When you had senior night, when Marcus Page got out there on the microphone, Coach, you can't prepare for that when you start to hear those words from him and what he said and what you meant to him. I don't know if you're an easy crier or not, but you could tell he got to you.
Yeah, it did, and most people would tell you that I probably am an easy crier, but Dan, I'll say this right here: if you say, I'll give you $1 million, but if you get this $1 million, you've got to forget the way you felt when Marcus Page said those things. I'd pass up the $1 million. I'd pass up $10 million, because that's what you coach for, is to have that kind of relationship with young men. And I wanted to get into coaching because of my high school coach, who was so good to me and still extremely important to me to this day. I wanted to see if I could have an influence on somebody's life like he did mine. And then the other part is I thought if I was coaching, it was still close to playing, so I didn't really have to have a job. But that moment was a special moment for me and one I'll never forget, nor will my family ever forget.
What kind of wardrobe collection do you have? Because you've been sporting some pretty good plaid sport coats there, Coach.
It's amazing because I'll have some people that love them, and I love them myself, but there is a percentage that, Coach, why are you wearing that? And I always look at them and say, okay, you're over 70. You think I care what you think about what I wear?
But, okay, at home, does anybody say, nah, I don't think you should go with that?
No, if my daughter's around, I always ask her which tie you think, or I may ask Wanda, do you have an opinion on the ties? But that's about it. I've got some people that really do a good job of suggesting things to me, and I can make a decision. If they lay out 5 or 6, I can say, I'll take that one and not that, not that, not that. And I can shop faster than anybody in history.
I've mentioned that the tournament, with the one and done, for the most part, we don't know these kids, or by the time we get to know them, they're going to the NBA. It's still a coach's tournament, but do we, and maybe you're the wrong person to ask this, but the value of a coach during the postseason, is there more value to you and Jim Boeheim and, Lon Kruger, the coaches that are still here when it comes to this time of the year?
Dan, you may have said it right. I don't even know if you should ask any of us, but I think sometimes, I think sometimes the coaching part is overrated. You get to the tournament, kids got to do what they do all year long. You've just got to keep them focused and not get too tight, I think, is the biggest value that we can give them. I remember in '05, we were trying to win our first championship, and I called a timeout and said, guys, I don't have anything to say to you. I just want you to relax a little bit. We're 3 minutes away from winning a national championship. They look like they might be a little bit tired. So I said, well, why don't you do something stupid? So that's what I did.
But do you like being the favorites?
It's never bothered me. This year we were picked number 1 in the preseason, and I thought that was sort of weird. The reason they picked is because everybody came back. Well, the reason they came back is because nobody was guaranteed to be a number 1 pick. And so I think if you're not guaranteed to be a number 1 pick, you shouldn't go. But at the same time, it was a little bit of a burden on our guys a little bit because people say, God, well, they're not as good as I thought. Well, that's your fault. You had the wrong thought process. But I don't mind being a favorite in '09. We were the only one, I think, unanimous Associated Press preseason pick to be number 1. And I said, I like that because we're going to be really good. And I challenged them to stand up to that. So we don't mind whatever they say.
Last time Michael Jordan visited the program.
Oh, wow. Michael's pretty doggone busy. You're talking about with the Hornets and new marriage and 2 little baby girls. I'd have to sit back and think about that a little bit. But I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up at some time here in the next few days.
Do you still have the motorcycle he bought for you?
Yes, I do. It's my wife's got this crazy idea that when we retire, she's going to turn it into a coffee table. So that's as far as I can go because I have no idea what the crap she's talking about.
Well, you can't get on that thing, right?
No. In fact, we both went and got helmets and signed up to take lessons. And before we did that, right after we did that, she fell in the parking lot in Kansas, in fact, and broke her collarbone. And so then we get run into, the former owner of the 76ers, Gross.
Pat Croce?
I forget it. Yeah, Pat Croce. And he said, don't get on that motorcycle. And he was limping around on a cane because he had a very, very serious accident on a motorcycle. And so after he told us that, and I was watching the way he was walking around, we never got on it. We just kept it. How do you give up a motorcycle Michael Jordan owns? My gosh.
Well, safe travels to Houston, Coach, and hope feel better. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, Dan. Have a great day, and look forward to seeing you sometime soon.
All right. Roy Williams, North Carolina head coach. He's certainly fired up about that Washington Post article.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.